and we're just making sure everything gets going. It is. We are sending data and streaming already to Twitch. It's YouTube taking its sweet time with some sending data. We're streaming now. Let's get into our opening video. Boom, ba bum, bum, ba bum. Boom, ba bum, bum, ba bum. Boom, ba bum, 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 ba bum, boom. Boom, ba bum, ba bum. Ba-bum, bum, bum. When I hit the go live button, chat, the studio light hurts my eyes. Ad breaks without warning me. Bears heavy on my mind. Then I look at chat and I grab my headset tight. Just one look at chat. What's it gonna be? And I know it's going to be a lovely, lovely stream, 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 lovely stream. A lovely stream with a Lego set ahead of me, but we're not doing Lego tonight. You should know that by now. First, we gotta fly the plane. Taking off's the easy part. Always the very best time. Then I look at chat and I turn on autopilot. Bum bum. Just one look at chat and I know it's going to be, what's it going to be? We all should know this by now. A lovely, lovely stream, lovely stream, lovely stream, a lovely stream, lovely stream, lovely stream, lovely stream, lovely stream, a lovely stream, lovely stream, lovely stream, lovely stream, a lovely stream, lovely stream, lovely stream, lovely stream. When we get to cruising altitude, we'll read the interactive story world. Redeem some Mahal Awards points. Always the very best time. Then I look at chat and I spin the wheel. Just one look at chat and I know it's going to be a lovely stream. A lovely, lovely stream. A lovely stream. Lovely stream. Lovely stream. Lovely stream. Lovely stream. Lovely stream. A lovely stream. Lovely stream. Lovely stream. Lovely stream. A lovely stream. Lovely stream. Lovely stream. Lovely stream. A lovely stream, lovely stream, a lovely stream, a lovely stream, lovely stream, lovely stream, lovely stream, lovely stream, lovely stream. I just realized I don't even have my chair ready. I am terribly unprepared today. But that's okay. Because it's a lovely stream. Lovely stream, lovely stream, a lovely stream, lovely stream. Oh, yeah, there it is. That's what I want to sit down on, an actual stool. I was in my pilot's cockpit chair, which is very comfortable, don't get me wrong. I really enjoy having it, but it is not what I should be sitting in. I think it's very comfortable, but it doesn't make me feel good on stream. So let's just get to just chatting. As you can see, I need to change that around. Aloha. How are you guys doing? You only see my, part of my body. There I am. Hey, aloha. You can call me Kra. I'm a father who normally builds Lego sets on stream while flying a virtual plane, but recently we've been doing an interactive story world called Le Motet de Otha, which is developed by my uncle, a famous-ish video game developer. Yeah, he's my uncle. That's all that really matters. I'm gonna move that up there. There, that's pretty good. Let's put that over there. Yeah, how are you guys doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm having a good weekend. I had a good, you know, my last stream was my 500th stream, so this makes it my 501st stream, live stream. So let's go put that in the thing, 501. It's good to have that. It's good to have that number behind me. Not that there's anything wrong with with having less than 500, but I feel like it was good to have done. It was good to have done the celebration that we did last Saturday, and it's good to move on from it. Welcome to my Office 2.0. We don't have that much longer here in this Office 2.0, about 3 months or so. But as you can see with me, we made some changes. I now have a little more of a Lego city behind me. That, of course, is one of the things that I'm looking forward to with Office 3.0. Is having a much more of a legitimate Lego city behind me. But part of that, to have that legitimate Lego city behind me, is to actually kind of replace the walls with stuff. So yeah, I feel very good about what we're doing with this. We're making good progress. I know I haven't been doing my accountability, but don't worry. There's reasons why we stopped doing those. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to dawdle too long today. I want to get right into the stream because I want to have a good time doing the flights and doing all the stuff. So let's just get right to it. There it is. We need to first and foremost, we need to come in here and program our flight. So as you can see, there is our plane. And we need to set a starting point. We, of course, are going to be flying from Bahir Dar. Let me just confirm that we're saying that right.
Bahir Dar.
Yep, that's where we're starting at. We're going to be... That's going to be airport code HABD. HABD. And that's where that place is located. And we are going to be flying to Atbara. Let's make sure we're pronouncing that properly.
Atbara.
Atbara. Very good. And that is, of course, airport code HSAT. There we go. We have a flight of 2 hours and 32 minutes planned for you today. That's exciting. I hope you're excited about that flight. Oh. You can X out of that. No. We can close out of that. I do need to bring up Le Moteur d'Author. But there's our flight. Now let's come back over to here and let's go to changing the time to something a little more respectable of a time. There we go. We'll be taking off at 4 o'clock. That means we're landing about 6 o'clock. Aloha, Lone Wolf. How are you doing, my friend? It's always a pleasure to have you here. I don't know if you can tell, but I do smile so much when I see your name in chat. Just, I'm letting you know, I always get excited to see you here, friend. But yeah, that's the flight. We got it planned. We got to make sure we set up our plane so that our plane has all the stuff. So we go and come into here and we click that, and then we click weight and scales, and we say, give me all the fuel. Give me all the fuel. I want all of it. And of course, you probably don't want to do that in real life plane flights, but in this, we're doing that. I'm doing well. It's the first Sunday of the month, which is always a little more hectic for me, personally. Between church commitments and stuff, I usually get home about 6:30 or so. And so to get streaming in 30 minutes, getting home with the kids, getting streaming, getting all those things accomplished, it's a little harder than I would like it to be, I swear. But, you know, we're here and we're streaming. It's one of the reasons why I'm wearing like my t-shirt as opposed to wearing like a nice dress shirt, because this is just what I was wearing today. And I'm sure you don't care. No one really cares about that type of thing. But yeah, we're doing good. From a news perspective, we have signed our contract with our general contractor to come in and to convert this into a real room, a real life room, with actual walls and outlets in the walls. So we're very excited about that. Because I do think it's going to make this feel more legitimate and less rinky-dinky to me. Yeah, I'm very excited about that. We're going to have it done over the summer. Actually, you're going to be the first one to hear this. I am not streaming the entire month of July. I haven't announced it anywhere. But looking at like our calendar, I will be streaming on July 5th. And then I won't be streaming again until August 2nd. So because the 5th is a Friday, and then that next weekend is like the last weekend before our Iceland trip. And then we're going to be in Iceland from basically the next 2 solid weeks. And then I come back on like a Friday. And so there's no way I'm streaming that Friday. And I just feel like how everything is set up, they are going to be converting this into a room while we're in Iceland. And I don't want to come back on a Friday and have to try to get this room ready for streaming by like Sunday. I mean, I know I probably could have literally just like my webcam set up and talk to you guys about my trip. But I just feel like I want to have an attempt at you guys coming into this space with as good of a setup as possible. And I know there's things that I won't have done when you guys get to come back into this space after we've built it into real space. Like when I think about the things that they're doing versus the things I'm doing, we're just gonna have them paint it pretty much primer everything. And, you know, I've got paint I'm going to put on this wall and paint I'm going to put on that wall. And I want to do like, stop following me. That's creepy. Not you. I'm talking about my camera. My camera, like I'm pointed over there. See? Stop following me. Because it keeps like giving you too much headroom. There we go. A little more. Okay, who knows? And like there's it's not a mural, so to speak, but it is going to be some artwork that I want to do on the back wall. Stop. So some artwork I want to do on my back wall. I wasn't here on Friday, so you didn't tell me any good news. But yeah, there's some artwork that I'm going to be installing on my back wall that acts as kind of a sound buffer, sound panels, but it's going to really, I think, help make the Lego table that I'm building behind me work. But at the same time, I have to build that Lego table too. So it's like, I feel like that weekend I come back from Iceland, I'm going to want to spend that weekend painting the 2 accent walls and getting like this computer up and set up and stuff, so that at least when you come back into it, it's painted and I don't have to, you know, do anything else aside from like, you know, it is what it is. But no, you didn't tell me any good news. I want to hear good news, my friend. I want to hear good news. Not that I'm having bad news, but I like your good news. I always enjoy your good news. And while you're typing, I'm going to get myself a drink. Aloha started and I was just getting myself a drink. How are you doing, my friend? We are flying. We are flying from Bahir Dar to Atbara in the Sudan. That's what we're doing today. Ooh. Congratulations. I'm so excited for you, Lone Wolf. That's awesome. For those who do not know, Lone Wolf is embarking on a new career and has done a phenomenal job on their tests. And now they're in the process of actually embarking on the new career. I'm so excited for you. I'm proud of you too. I'm proud of you. That is awesome. I'm gonna just start loading up the flight, by the way, so we can, while we keep talking. Where's my mouse? Uh-oh, you're taking your exam. You got this starting. You got this starting. Oh, look at that. That's something. I don't know what that is. It's not anywhere we're flying. But how long is your exam going to be on Saturday starting? Just out of curiosity. No. There, perfect. Oof. And we're gonna do that. There we go. We slowed it down all the way over there. Starden is a graduate student in psychology, so I believe her exam is so that she can be a licensed mental health counselor, I think. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that, Starden, but that is my assumption based upon everything you've ever said about what you're doing. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna come down to here, and I'm gonna let's get back to off studio mode. 9 a.m. sharp, 9 to 12. Yeah. Oh, passing the master degrees. Okay. I just realized I probably should plug in my phone so it can charge. It prepares you for the actual licensure. Excellent. Let us get to our flying. Is this the button? That's the button. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I know my parking brake's engaged. Sue me. Alright, we got that. Let's go to this. There it goes. Hit ready to fly. And then we hit Control Delete. And then we turn on all those things. Control number delete. Parking brake is off. System is firing up. And we are a go for takeoff. Look at this. Look at this. We're doing great. I don't even need to hold the wheels. And we want to get a little more airspeed before I pull off. You don't tell me when to lift off. And then we can turn.
Beechcraft 801, continue for west departure.
Bahir Dar Tower, Beechcraft 6801, continue.
Let's see. I want my altitude. To be 10,000 feet. And we flatten back out, but we also have to set our heading. Our heading is 329. And we just change that to 329. Okay, thank you. And then we hit heading.
Addis Ababa Center Beechcraft 6801 is type Beechcraft King Air 3 miles.
There we go.
Bahir Dar 8,300 feet. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace.
I'm pretty sure we have this set up. I'm still going to pull up because I want to get up to 10,000 feet. Yeah, we're just going to take that off so we can get up to 10,000 feet, which is where we want to be.
Beechcraft 801 radar contact 4 miles northwest of Bahir Dar 8,600 feet. Cleared through the Charlie airspace.
Let's level off a bit.
Through the Charlie airspace, Beechcraft 801.
And then we turn on autopilot. And there it goes. It's holding. Nope. Okay. Okay. We're good. We're good. We're good. Now we can transition back to you guys.
There it is.
Don't ever change the Lone Wolf. Don't ever change. It is a great movie. Don't ever change the Lone Wolf. I may not always respond when you make comments like that, but I always do greatly appreciate them. All right, back to Le Moteur d'Arthur. Arthur. I should have my mouse over here. Yeah. So we're gonna go to this. I can send to the beginning story. Yes, before I return to this, I will hold. We'll wait. Oh, I spin prize wheel. Yes, prize wheel. Let me go get that. May the odds forever be in your favor. Five.
Congratulations, Daddy. Has to wear the gator head 5 minutes.
One of the things my kids love the most about the Gatorhead is that the mannequin is a female mannequin. All right. Limo Arthur, page this. I need to set a timer. Boom. You notice some of the... Where's my mouse? Where is my mouse? There it is. There it is. Okay. You notice some of the cataphracts practicing by the central post. They've set up an ingenious device consisting of a shield that they can strike with their lances, but it swings away rather than disintegrating upon impact. You watch with pleasure as one after another they charge the shield, hit it cleanly, and then continue on. Inspired, you collect Invictus at the stables, saddle him up, grab a lance, and head out to try your luck. Isn't Invictus? I didn't know that was the name of Arthur's horse. Your first try is a dismal failure. The lance bounded upward at the last second. You completely missed the target. The men are too polite to laugh. They know that you haven't had the free time to practice that they have. These guys put in about an hour almost every day. You barely squeeze in an hour of practice once a week. You try several more times with equally grim results. Controlling the lance from atop a galloping horse takes a lot of skill. But you've already learned that the trick is to anticipate the horse's movements and correct them in advance. Overcorrecting is another common mistake. Where am I? There it is. You managed to get a few hits on the target, but it's obvious to everyone you need a lot more practice. You're not too worried yet. Campaigning season is still months away, but you resolve to make more time for practice. Maldwin comes over and reassures you that you're doing fine for the small amount of practice you've had. Oh, what should I say to Maldwin? What should I say? I can't even see the mouse. Okay, there it is. No. I like the first one more than the second. I hate this third one just because I hate Anal Nathrax. So we're going with thanks, Maldwin. I'll get the hang of it eventually. I'm sure you will, Maldwin answers. Also, I feel bad, Lone Wolf. You asked me to spin, and I could have worn this for takeoff. So for added bonus, just for you, I will wear the gator head when we land. Dun dun dun. You spent the last 3 hours talking with dummies who don't understand simple instructions, talking with asses who just want to argue about everything, talking with angry people who must be not mollified. It's time to get away from all these people and get some fresh air. You head over to the horse area and pick out Invictus. It's been 2 days and you still haven't had time to go for a ride. You size him up again. You bend down and feel the fetlocks? What the hell's a fetlock? Fetlock is formed at the junction of the third something on the forefront or metastable something. Means footlock and refers to the small tuft of the hair situated at the rear of the joint. Interesting. Where's my mouse? There it is. You walk around the horse, patting him. You spread your saddle over him and cinch it down. You climb into the saddle. Invictus takes it calmly. Emery Weldig's people did a good job with this horse. Kutana prances around knowing that you'd be going out on another adventure. You walk him out into the open area and then push him up for a trot for a few yards. He seems to know all the signals. You pull the reins and he instantly stops. And that is the alarm. We'll finish the page. All around you, people are stopping what they're doing to watch you and this magnificent horse. Suddenly he rears up high dumping you flat onto your butt. Freed from your weight, he trots a few steps away and then turns to look back at you and neighs. He's laughing at you. All the people are watching you with shocked expressions. You're sitting on your butt in a little puddle of mud. Is there an option to murder Invictus? No, okay. I'm gonna burst into laughter, turn to face the group of kids. I meant to do that. I cry, and they all laugh uproariously. You get up, brush off the mud, and resume riding Invictus, who seems quite obedient now. I'm gonna take my glasses off. Ah. Mahalo, Lone Wolf. Oh. Hey, Alva, how are you doing, my friend? Yeah. I hope you do enjoy that. That was a great sprint. And the gator head is one of those things that only I can do. Not many other people have a gator mascot lying around that they can just use the head for. It is. I'm always happy to use it. And here comes my dog. Hi, Peanut. Hi, Peanut. Come on, up here. Up. Hi. This is my dog, Peanut. She's a puppy. She's a good girl. Yes, she is. She's the bestest. She really is. Oh, Peanut. Gosh. All right, let's go put the gator head away. So to answer Lone Wolf's question about how do I read looking out of that, you're looking through the teeth. And so what it is there's like these little triangles of space that you can read. And so you're just kind of moving your head and winking with one eye to look out the other eye to read it. But yes, Abra, that was a prize wheel redeem. Lone Wolf spun the wheel and got me to where the gator head for time. Welcome to the stream. Ooh, Ultimate Chicken Horse. Please tell us about that game. Okay. She is a very cute dog. We love her. Okay, cool. We've caught up. And she's back down here somewhere. Peanut, do you want to sit in my chair? Nope. You want right up here? Huh? Go on, hop in my chair. She's a little skittish right now. You got an ad about dogs. Talk about stuff. Ultimate Chicken Horse is a Mario Maker meets Jackbox. Ooh, very cool. That sounds fun. All right, so we brush off the mud. We've been riding Invictus, who seems quite obedient now. Where's my mouse? I don't know where my mouse is. There it is. Okay. I did want it on that screen. Okay. There it is. That's what I wanted to get to do so I can zoom out. I just want to make sure that I was as close to it as possible. Yeah, Lone Wolf. Honestly, Turbo is the best. It's honestly the best. As I tell everyone, if you are debating between Turbo and dropping a sub to me, please get Turbo. Honestly, get Turbo. I hate watching ads in general. And at least with like YouTube ads, it doesn't like, although oftentimes it's poorly timed, it is awesome. Aloha, Amanda. How are you doing, my good friend? But yeah, Twitch Turbo, 1000% recommend it to people. That sounds so much fun. Does it have to be people you know, or is it random people, Abra? Abra's telling us about a game called Ultimate Chicken Horse. Just want to put it over here in my search. I mean, the name alone means Audrey would like it. Ooh, okay, Disney Dreamlight. Yes, my daughter is kind of playing that and sometimes not playing it, but that's good to know. Oh, that looks so much fun. I love the graphics. Is this on Xbox? On PlayStation 4, so I bet you it's an Xbox game too. Yeah, okay, cool. We're buying that game like immediately. We're doing that like today. All right, okay, so we brushed off the mud. Back to the story. We have to know where we're going on. Where did I lose my mouse to? There's my mouse. Okay. After a long day, you and Guinevere come to bed at the same time. Well, sometimes you retire at different times. Depends on who's demanding whose time and for how long. But tonight you both crawl under the furs at the same time. Guinevere reaches over and caresses your face. You scrunch closer to her and the two of you embrace. Neither of you is as frisky as you were when you were first married 30 years ago, but you still enjoy sensual moments together. How much you crave the sexual coupling of earlier times. It cannot be. At the Battle of Mount Badon, a stumbling Saxon managed to shove his spear into your butt. It was a deep wound and bleeding was prodigious. But your men bound the wound tightly and immediately carry you to Rianu. Is that how you say that? Rianu, who courageously volunteered to accompany the army to attend to the wounded. The battle was all over, but when it happened, you'd been leading an attack on one of the last clutches of Saxons still standing the ground. One of the Saxons, a big guy with a big bushy blonde beard, had lunged at you with his sword. You grabbed his sword arm and pulled him forward, causing him to lose his balance and fall at your feet. But as you turned to finish him, another Saxon came at you with his spear. Kay had dealt him a lethal blow as he plunged forward, but his spear found his mark. How did we go from lovemaking to this? How? I feel like this is a big jump in story line. So Amanda, this is a this is an interactive story world developed by my uncle Chris Crawford. He is a pioneering video game developer who made games for the Atari back in like the 70s, early Apple games. Hasn't really done anything since like 1993, but he's been working on this story engine, and then just released this. And so we're doing this because, yes, we're still doing this. We have not finished this yet. Here's our progress bar. I feel like that says we're a quarter of the way through this. Yeah, he's and again, feels like a big jump. We went from talking about being frisky with Guinevere and then being speared on Mount Badon in the butt in battle. Okay, put you back to sleep. Where was it? The wound should have been fatal. You should have bled to death, but somehow Rennie stopped the bleeding. Even then, you still should have died from an infection. A wound that deep is almost always fatal. Yet Rianu refused to leave your side, constantly dripping a herbal preparation of her own concoction over the wound. You lost consciousness, but they told you that. for the next 5 days. She refused to let you be moved. She left your side only to pee and shit, to boil more of her herbal preparation. She ate kneeling on the ground next to you. She grabbed snatches of sleep lying on the ground next to you. At night, they threw blankets over the two of you. Guinevere, hearing the news, had ridden hard all the way to Mount Badon, and she took over at intervals so that Renew could eat, sleep, and pee. Yes, the wound is in the butt. In the butt. You woke up sometimes screaming in pain, but Renew managed to get you to drink one of her teas, which put you back to sleep. After a few days, the bodies on the battleground began to stink, and your men had to collect them all and burn them to protect you from bad air. Protect you, not them. Somehow you survived those critical first few days. When at last you were strong enough, Renew had them lay you in a deep pile of furs and blankets, protect you from the jerking and bumping of the cart. You lay on your belly the entire time. She sat next to you to watch the wound. It took 2 whole days to get back to Camelot. They fed you, cleaned up after you shitted, a particularly delicate task. I would assume so, and helped you pee. It took another week before Renew allowed you to sleep on your side, but she tied a bundle of clothes to your back to ensure you didn't sleep on your back. A week later, she untied the bundle. On the 3rd week, you began to walk with someone supporting you. It took another month before you could walk without assistance, but you still needed a cane. I know. This is my uncle again. And I'm supposed to see him at a funeral in a month and talk to him about this. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to be like, so, Uncle Chris, about your game. Sorry about your loss, by the way. About the game. Okay, it took another 2 months before you could ride a horse or run, but you couldn't have sex. Every time you tried, it hurt too much. Guinevere tried everything she could to help you, but it just wasn't possible. The pain of the old wound always overcame your passion. I'll admit, I've never been speared so hard in my ass that I needed to go through like all of the things he went through. I'm sure there are still ways. On a TMI perspective, I had a vasectomy. That's why they make lube. I'm just going to allow that. We're not even going to pretend. But one of my biggest fears after having a vasectomy is what would happen. Because with a vasectomy, what they do is they snip some tubes inside of you so that things can't get from point A to point B. And my fear, because they also cauterize the tubes, my fear was what would happen when the thing has to get from A to B and it like hits a wall of cauterization. What would that feel like? It feels like nothing, but a lot of guys I've talked to have had that fear. So I feel like I want to share that for any male out there considering the cauterization in the snip. It will be fine. Nothing will be different. You're just not going to be potent anymore. Okay, back to not having any with Guinevere because you got speared in the butt. So tonight, the two of you cuddle together, holding on to each other. Yeah, again, you just assumed that you would feel something. Exactly. But that's good to know. Yeah. Was there a reason, or was it just personal preference. Feel free to tell me, Craw, don't ask questions like that. I just sometimes don't know what to say after that. Yolkless eggs do occur. Personal preference, nope. Understandable. Okay. All right, so here's the question. Do I want to try to burn it? Let's see how pervy my uncle gets. Let's see where he goes. Try as you may, you just can't pull it off. The pain is too great. It's funny because I feel like they haven't mentioned this at all in any of this. Like, this is the first we're hearing about this. And I feel like we should have heard about it earlier than this. Bryn Mawr, the night watchman, approaches you, accompanied by a half a dozen people. Tomorrow night is Beltane. We'd like to have the customary bonfire. Bryn Mawr is the unofficial keeper of all the old Celtic knowledge. That foul pagan ritual will earn us God's displeasure. It's Lituus, the Christian priest. We are Christians and must not engage in pagan worship. Christianity is the Roman religion, and the Romans betrayed us to the Saxons, one of the others cried. Now, let's just all you say. You start to say before you're interrupted by another voice, someone behind the others. Jesus Christ is our King and Savior. More people are joining the little group. It's becoming a crowd. Bryn Mawr, speak, you loudly declare. Thank you, Arthur, he intones, his maleficious voice resonating. Oh, God, I don't know what maleficious means. The voice, sweet or musical, pleasant to hear. Mellifluous. Okay, got it. Cool. Mellifluous voice resonating. I have no quarrel with the Christian faith. It is a noble faith, and Christians are good people. But we are Britons as well as Christians, and our customs go back for many centuries before Romans arrived. Christianity has been our island for less than 200 years, and was confirmed to the towns and cities. The country folk never gave up the old ways. Now the Romans are gone, and the towns and cities are gone, and we are turning to the old way of life. Aloha, Sweezy Doodles. How are you doing, my friend? Welcome into the stream. It's a pleasure to see you today. Hopefully all is well where you are at and all that wonderful good stuff. To give you some, level set about what we're doing, we are reading a interactive story world developed by my uncle, a pioneering video game developer named Chris Crawford, who developed games for the Atari and original Apple computers. But he hasn't made anything since like 1993. And then he made this, a quasi-pornographic story about the death of King Arthur using modern words. I'm doing well. We're having a good time. Going through this, laughing, enjoying the awkwardness of my uncle and me having to read a story my uncle wrote about being speared in the butt in battle. No, Lituus begins. Shut up, you shout. You will have your turn to speak. Bryn Mawr continues. There is no reason why we cannot accommodate both sets of beliefs. Very nice of him. We can celebrate the old Celtic festivals just as we celebrate Easter. Christians are free to celebrate their Mass. Why should not others be free to celebrate Trans Day of Visibility? Very well, you say sternly. Lituus, it is your turn to speak. Thank you, Arthur. The Christian faith, it is the official faith of the Roman Empire. It is the religion of a civilized people. The Saxons are vile pagans, and our King Jesus Christ gave us victory at Mount Badon when I got speared in the ass because we are of true faith. And what did he? Someone interrupts. Silence, you thunder. Lituus, what were you saying? We must not revert to the paganisms of the Saxons or the old ways when the Britons were barbarians. The Romans brought a civilization, law, order, and a good life. Rome itself has fallen to the pagans, but we are the last preserver of civilization, the last fortress of civilized life in a world flooded with barbarians. We must save everything we can of civilization, and Christianity is just as much a part of civilization as the coins we once used, industries what we once practiced, books we once read, and the orderly way in which we administer justice. Very well, Lituus, you pause for a moment to highlight the gravity of your situation. Those who are wish to those who wish to celebrate Trans Day of Visibility are free to do so. Brynmore smiles and the people behind him cheer. Lituus scowls and dark muttering rustles through the crowd. You're at Atricious, the smith's shed, sharpening Excalibur. You're sitting in the sun, slowly sliding the whetstone down the blade when Guinevere rushes up to you. Come quickly, Narnia's dying. Narnia? Am I saying that right? Is he really mean? Anytime, text to speech. Narina, okay, Narina. I was about to say, Narina's dying. You scowl. Why should I come? I can't do anything to help. You must come. You must come. Guinevere insists. Narina is what? 7 years old? Children die all the time. Damn. Dude sounding like, no. There's nothing special about this. Just last week, one of the farmers over at Maromago lost a child. If I ran to witness every child's death, I'd never get anything done. Dear God. Guinevere stares at you coldly. Narina is Rajula's last child, and she loves that girl. Look, you lost one baby at birth and another at age 2. Every woman's lost a couple of kids. We're lucky if half of them grow up. This is normal. We can't turn the world upside down for every child's death. Again, Guinevere stares angrily. Then she says slowly, evenly, "You'd better come." She whirls around and stalks off. Reluctantly, you stand up and follow her, resheathing Excalibur in its scabbard. You'll just have to sharpen it as... He didn't want to go see someone whose child was dead because he was sharpening his sword. Thoughts and prayers, right? Thoughts and prayers. You'll have to sharpen it some other time. Then you remember that you're still holding the whetstone. You turn around. Atricious is looking at you expectantly. You toss him the whetstone and hurry to catch up with Guinevere. Pots and trayers. The women are all gathered around Rosala and Narina, who is lying on the dirt floor wrapped in furs. Well, at least she got some furs out of it. One glance tells you the girl won't last long. She's pale, shivering, and sweating. Rosala is sobbing. Guinevere touches her shoulder. Arthur has come. Rosala pauses for a moment to look at you, her face twisted. Sorry, that was a Diet Coke on my cell phone. Which, again, I just showed way more compassion to my cell phone with Diet Coke than Arthur did to Narino. I think though, if it was his cell phone, he would have also taken the time to, like, do the things. I'm sure it's fine. It didn't, like, it was plugged into charge. And so, like, I don't think the soda got to that part, so I think I'm gonna be fine. I'm more worried that I lost some of my Diet Coke. Yeah, poor cell phone, not poor child, though. Okay, Arthur has come. Rosalind pauses for a moment to look at you, her face twisted in anguish. The image of her face pierces your heart. You stare, frozen by the intensity of a mother's grief. You're always busy with endless tasks of leading these people, the rush of events, the emergencies and impossibilities. The responsibilities of your life have crowded out your appreciation for the people. You're so busy protecting them that you've forgotten whom you're protecting. For one brief moment, the reality of their travails stabs your soul. You've held men as they've died. You've watched them suffer. But this woman's agony transfixes you. Absolutely not. Oh, God, this one's even worse. They're all bad. So I stammer. I'm sorry. And then I leave. The others all stare at you as you leave. I felt that was like the most humane of all the answers. That's what that felt like. Uh-oh. Merlin is waiting for you outside the little roundhouse. Why are you so upset, Arthur? You said it yourself. Children die all the time. Damn. Okay, which is it? Okay. Damn, both of these suck. I glare at Merlin. The mother made it difficult. It was her look, not Narina's death, that upsets me so much. I hope Merlin says some shit here. Would you rather that Narina's mother had not been there? Arthur is a dirtbag. Of course not. Next. So you're willing to attend the death of men, but not of children? Absolutely. Dying men need and deserve my consolation. So what is the difference between death of adults and the death of children? Why do you treat them separately? Okay. Narina still had so much of her life ahead of her. She lost all that future life. But so that should mean you're more worried about her. I know, I don't like Arthur at all. He's really terrible. I don't feel like the second one really feels like on par with who Arthur is. So we're going to continue on with adults know what they're doing. A soldier on the battlefield understands the risks and accepts the possibilities of death, particularly the possibility that Merlin will now murder me. Does this not mean, Merlin muses, that cognizance of the possibility of death renders its occurrence more acceptable? Is the death of a wise man acceptable, while the death of an idiot is necessarily a tragedy? I suppose so, Merlin. It makes sense. Wow. Merlin points his finger at you. Never forget that death is arbitrary and beyond our control. It does not contribute to the significance of a person's life. It is the conclusion of that person's life story and is significant only as that conclusion. He departs. That's interesting to think about. I would love chat's opinion or Merlin's thought. Never forget that death is arbitrary and beyond our control. It does not contribute to the significance of a person's life. It is the conclusion of that person's life and is significant only as that conclusion. It's an interesting statement. All right, I'm going to copy that. Because I want to remember that. I want to put that in my notes. And the ironic thing, I don't feel like my uncle is, like, I feel like he had to have read that somewhere. I don't think he could have come up with that on his own, but that's just me. I think the thing that makes me think about it more and makes me really want to analyze it is, like, I think there's oftentimes a statement that sounds smarter than it actually is. And this feels that way, if only because it's my uncle who wrote it, right? Like, if this was in a movie, I would think about it more as being like, wow, I really should consider this. But because it's my uncle, there's an element of, really? We're going with this? Is this? And that's why I'm struggling with it. Look, I'm not hating your uncle. I'm hating on my uncle. And I'm hating on my uncle because I've dealt with this dude for 45 years. For 45 years, I've had to deal with this guy. It's making me think, and again, if someone feels I'm getting too personal, I apologize. I had to call this uncle to let him know that his mother had passed away. Just because when it happened, I was like the next person in the queue of people who had the responsibility of notifying people. And my grandma had dementia, and she really was just a body at that point. The last couple times I talked to her, she barely could speak. She could still smile, and when I saw the smile, I'm like, that's grandma, right? But she had no idea who I was. I felt like she knew I was someone of importance to her, but that may have just been me projecting. And didn't make me feel good to see her and see her smile and be like, that's grandma. But it just, there was also this sadness of this is what her life has gotten to. Whereas other people in my family just are like, she's no longer with us. That's just a body. There's no value in seeing her. That's things I'd actually heard people in my family say about it. And so when I got to tell my uncle that, hey, your mother has passed away, he says to me, she died a long time ago. It's just our society's sick inability to let go is why the last 10 years of her life happened. And so taking that personal story that I just shared, which is why I'm looking at this going, never forget that death is arbitrary and beyond our control. It does not contribute to the significance of the person's life. Letting go is very hard. I recognize that. And I'm going to let the ad break play out because I want to make sure everyone who can engage in this can still engage with it. But again, thinking about that story, that aspect, and then thinking about this. Okay, Amanda's back. Great. So my grandpa also had dementia. So, my grandma's wife, his father also had dementia, and it was a different ending for him than it was for my grandma. And it was, both of them, although they were not the people who I was raised with, the people who I grew up with, going to their houses for Thanksgiving, there still was that value to that. And I'm watching it, and again, watching my dad go through dementia himself too, and his inability to recall information, his inability to put pieces of information back. And so to think that my uncle would look at his mom and his dad, and that there was a point in their life where they stopped existing as themselves and were just the bodies that they were a part of, that was their death, and that everything that happened afterwards is not part of their life story is depressing to some level for me, because like they still had value, right? Their life still matters at that point. Even if, like, I remember I was on the Big Island with my grandpa. It was his 60th. It was the last time I talked to him. It was his 60th wedding anniversary. And I'm on the Big Island with him. And I go up to him and we're having, a cookout. And he's sitting in a chair. And I asked him, how was his day? And he said it was good. And I asked him if he was enjoying himself. He said yes. And I felt like he had no idea who I was. He had no idea who I was talking to. He wasn't giving me information because he didn't want to give away the fact that he didn't know these things. And even then, there still was value to him. And to me, I think it's a very dangerous thought process to believe that even at that point of my grandpa's life, at his 60th wedding anniversary, that my uncle would have considered him already dead. And to say that from that thought process, that isn't part of my grandpa's life story, that he was married to my grandma for 60 years, is kind of sad to me. I mean, I think at the end of it, it's like, can I judge? Like, I don't know. It's so tough because it's like, is the end of their lives where they're going through that dementia significant to their life story? And I think that's the part that I'm struggling with the most. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that 1,000%. And I think, Amanda, like, I don't want to say that because, like, I think about the right to death that people have, that unfortunately they don't have in a lot of states in America, but some states like Oregon recognize that people who are terminal have the ability to have death with dignity as opposed to the other stuff. Mahalo for being here, Amanda. I always appreciate you, my friend. And the primary argument why people make against death with dignity type of situations is that for people like my grandma and grandpa who had suffered so greatly from dementia, there is a fear that people potentially would come to that conclusion that you just went with, Amanda. I'm going to continue streaming. Don't worry, I'm not gonna just end it. But I'm copying this and I want to send it to my brother. The reason being, my brother is a Catholic deacon. I am not Catholic, but I say that just because he has a different perspective of religion and life than I do. And I want his thoughts on this quote. He's currently on his way. He's not going to get this email anytime soon, I believe, because he's currently on his way to Texas for the eclipse. Uncle Chris, quote, that's not a quote. So I'm playing his interactive story world, Le Motte d'Arthur, and he's talking to him I apologize. I'm just writing it. So I'm playing his interactive story. Playing Uncle Chris's. In case he doesn't put together the subject line is Uncle Chris. Chris's interactive story world is out there. And in this story, Arthur is dealing with the emotions over the death of a child, which he has no emotions, but his emotions are all related to the mother's emotions about the loss of her child. I apologize for hearing this rain of thought. Loss of her child. It's hard to really put it into context, but here's a quote that Merlin says to Arthur to get him to think about equating, think about stuff. I love your thoughts, particularly in the context of Grandma and Grandpa's dementia. Okay. I'm pretty sure when my brother gets this email, he's just going to call me. Or he'll send me a 85-page response. But he's my older brother, and I'm his younger brother, so he should be absolutely used to me sending him shit like this. And his belief that they weren't alive when... I'm going to leave it at that. Me and him will just talk about it longer. Okay, apologize again. I do think it is a interesting comment. Aloha, Clover, welcome on in. Yeah, so Clover, you just popped in at a very heavy moment is the best way to put it. Pretty much in this part of the story, Arthur has gone to visit a woman whose child is passing, and he sees no value in her life ending, whereas he would view the life of a person in battle dying as having like a value. And then there's a sentence that Merlin points at Arthur and says, "Never forget that death is arbitrary and beyond our control. It does not contribute to the significance of a person's life. It is the conclusion of that person's life story, and is significant only as that conclusion." And again, partially because this is my uncle who wrote this, it's making me think a lot about his parents' death. Both of his parents had dementia by the end of their life, and he just basically didn't feel they were people. There was any value in seeing or interacting with them at the end of their life, because they weren't his parents anymore. They were just bodies to him. And it's making me think a lot about like that. So I apologize, Clover, if you pop in. Like, this is really deep, and I am good. I apologize to anyone who's feeling that way. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going through emotionally. I'm not going to end the stream or anything, but it's hitting me really hard right now. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. Let's see if he changes subject or if we're going to keep going down this rabbit hole. Okay. Good. We're moving past it. I'm doing okay. Again, like I feel like. So my grandpa passed away 15 years ago at this point. I think it's 15 years ago. But I mean, I do have the emotion that by the end of my grandpa's life, I didn't know if he knew who I was. He was really skilled at masking his deterioration. But it was still great to see him the last time I saw him. It still was a wonderful experience to be with him and celebrate his 60th wedding anniversary and just be in his presence, knowing that he wasn't the man he was when I was a kid. You know, one of my weird regrets is that, you know, my wife, although we were getting married shortly after that, she never got to meet my grandpa. She met a person that was my grandpa, but it wasn't him, right? She didn't get to know his sense of humor. She didn't get to know the things that made him so wonderful and special. And my grandma in the past 15 years also went down a path to the point where she wasn't talking towards the end. She had no idea who you were, but she still had her smile. And so, you know, she has passed at this point. And I feel good because her suffering, whatever she was going through, that she couldn't communicate to us that she was that she's at peace now. And I unfortunately was the person who had the responsibility of telling my uncle that his mother had passed away. And so again, and he told me everything that he thought at that moment in time, which is again why it's hitting so hard, right? Like again, if someone not named my uncle had written this, I would not be having them having. Let's keep moving. There's quite a hubbub over at the southwestern gate. People are running down to see what's happening. You figure that it would be kingly to join them. So you go inside and wait for the source of excitement to come to you. At least 10 minutes pass before a small group of people enter. You recognize all but two. The strangers salute you with appropriate obedience. You ask their business. We are traders who have brought wine from Gaul. You're only partly successful at suppressing the look of excitement that dashes over your face. Wine. The last time you tasted wine was, well, several years ago. You glance at Guinevere, a glance that tells her that this is her situation to handle. You both know that she's better at interpersonal relations than you are. Although you play a formal role of primary interlocutor. What? A person who takes part in dialogue or conversation. Interlocutor. With a primary interlocutor with merchants, Guinevere's occasional comments guide your behavior. We're honored to have you at our court, you begin. Please accept our hospitality for, and you hesitate. The next 5 days, Guinevere completes your sentence, smiling subordinately. She steps forward and takes the leader by the arm. You must be tired from your long journey. Please allow my servant girls to wash your feet. You'll find it refreshing. A few quick gestures and facial expressions set 4 servants rushing about, and within a few moments, the 2 merchants are seated at opposite sides of a table with large clay pots at their feet. The pots are filled with water, and 2 girls are washing their feet. Why have them stay so long? You whisper in Guinevere's ear. We'll use up a lot of our best food entertaining them. And whom do you think will supply the wine? How better to judge their merchandise? Besides, I estimate from their demeanor it will take at least 3 days for me to soften them up before we begin bargaining. Each night you hold a small private dinner just for you, Guinevere, and the merchants. You instruct the doulas to make each of the meals special. She's used her best condiments to cheer up the meals. None of the usual soup for these fellows. Every night is meat, although on 2 nights it's a stew with beans. As Guinevere foretold, they supply the wine so that you can sample their offerings. They explain in great detail the characteristics of each wine. You have no idea what they're talking about, but you smile and nod a lot. As far as you can tell, all the wines are heavenly. By the 4th day, Guinevere's wit and charm have penetrated all the mercantile reservations, and they are behaving as if they are part of the family. Tongues wag freely and laughter flows abundantly. Then she sets to work. Let's start with that Amphoria of young wine. It's entirely too fresh and needs another year or two before it's worth drinking. I'll offer you 1,000 denarii for it. Let's see your money, the leader replies, suddenly serious. Guinevere pulls out a leather bag and dumps a pile of coins onto the table. These are the coins that a farmer dug up months ago. They've been cleaned. Well, you've got quite the collection here, the merchant laughs, fingering the coins apart to see them all. Lots of siliquas, plenty of bronze. Look, commonest. She's got old folies. Here, let's start by separating out the gold. There are a few solidi, some tremisi. Whew. Where in the world did you get this Aurelius? Look at that, commonest. I haven't seen an Aurelius in years. This by itself will buy you that young wine. Agreed, Guinevere declares. Now let's talk about the Spanish wine you're so proud of. I'll give you 1,500 denarii for it. 1,500? Are you trying to make a pauper of me, madame? I paid 2,000 for it. So the haggling goes back and forth. You were astounded at Guinevere's expertise and confidence. You knew that her forebears had been wealthy merchants. Her father had prospered during the 50s, importing manufactures from Gaul that were no longer being made in Britannia. He had fostered shippers in Armonica, who steered clear of the dangerous sea routes in Londinium, landing at Dumnoranium in the west. The merchant produces scales with which they weigh gold coins, then the silver coins, and lastly bronze ones, a long process. Apparently the bronze coins aren't worth much, but she has a great many of them. The haggling continues and you drift off into the musing about priorities for the various tasks facing you over the next week. Clearly, getting more charcoal for Atricius has to enjoy the highest priority. His iron tools are required by at least a dozen farmers. Repairing the barn is next, but your thoughts are interrupted by Guinevere standing up, scooping up her remaining coins into their leather bag and hurriedly walking away. Shocked, you look at the merchant, who bears a defiant expression. You hurriedly arise and takes Guinevere back to your private apartment. What happened? Why'd you walk away? Guinevere is not all perturbed. Smiling slightly, she tells you he's asking too much and won't lower his price. She stuffs the bag into a small chest. But what are we going to do with all these coins? They're useless. These merchants are the only people who value them. Why not meet their price and get something useful from them? He's asking more than the wine is worth because he thinks that we're bumpkins who don't know what it's really worth. But you don't know what it's really worth. You can't possibly know. His face tells me what it's worth. I know what I'm doing. We are always going to trust Guinevere. Always trust Guinevere. I'm going to trust you about this, but you better be right. Guinevere remains in your apartment the entire evening. She doesn't even come out for dinner. She has it brought to her. The next morning, the merchants decided to lower the price. We can't afford to take this wine home, they complain. They sell all the remaining wine to you for all your remaining coins, plus 4 sheep. I told you they'd come around, Guinevere boasts, and I believed you. All right, how far are we on our flight? 154 nautical miles. Guinevere collars you. Kay's nephew is getting married next Sunday. Sean invited us to the wedding. So I'm having your good tunic washed? Well, the good tunic. But I told Price that I'd meet him to discuss our requirements for firewood, you protest. Guinevere shakes her head. This is more important. Cancel your plans. We're going to the wedding on Sunday. Very well, you sigh. You've learned that there's no point in arguing with Guinevere. Damn right. She leaves most of the decisions to you, even when you ask her advice. When she makes a decision, she's not gonna bend. On Saturday, you, Guinevere, and a few others ride to Kay's hall. Kay receives you warmly, and Shan embraces Guinevere happily. The two wives set off for private chat, and you and Kay settle down for a discussion of Saxon activities in this area. They've been pretty quiet for the last few months. We killed a couple of them who were chasing some of the runaway cattle, and we bagged the cattle too. 3 guys tried to grab a farmstead, but they were chased off by the father and his 3 sons. The farmer thinks they were outlaws, not raiders. They had no weapons other than wooden clubs. They were probably just looking for food. Were they Saxon desperados or Briton desperados, you ask? No way to tell, Kay answers. They're dressed in rags and were barefoot. Their hair was so dirty that the farmer couldn't tell the color of his hair. Anything else, you ask? We sighted a few of them wandering around in the empty lands, but they don't dare get too close to our land, and when they see us, they tuck their tails and run. Well, don't let your guard down. One of these days, they might just mount a serious raid with a large force, you warn. Kay is unimpressed. Mom said you were always paranoid. You stand up and thrust your finger in Kay's face. Don't you ever talk about Mom, you snarl. Look, I know how you feel, but you ain't really cut him off. You weren't there. You didn't see what they did to Mom. Guinevere quickly breaks off her chat with Shannon and announces that Shannon has offered to take two of you on a short walk around the area. Shannon nods her head in agreement. You cast an ugly glare at Kay and join the ladies. Two ladies. That evening, Shannon provides a nice meal with fresh meat, good beer and good bread and some beans. The next morning, a good-sized crowd begins to gather at Kay's hall. Apparently, his nephew is either popular or owns a lot of cattle. Lituus arrives and instructs Kay as to the procedures to be followed for a proper Christian wedding. Kay and Shan are both devout Christians, and they pay close attention. Kay and Shan will stand to the priest's right, slightly behind you, and Guinevere will stand on his left, and also slightly behind. There's a hubbub at the main entrance as the bride and groom enter. The parents and relations close behind. They're both about 16 years old, practically over the hill at this point. He's wearing a long white tunic. She's wearing a light blue breast spangled with red satin flowers. A yellow ribbon brightens her hair. Together they walk forward to the priest while their families follow behind, spread out to either side of the hall. The priest launches into a sermon. You expected about to be the solemnity of marriage, but he's talking about something else, and you can't quite make out what he's trying to impart. He's quoting a Bible, but you've never heard any of that stuff before. Oh well, you've only heard bits and pieces of the Bible. It must be bigger than you thought. You sigh and inspect the floor. Much to your delight, a centipede is making its way across the floor. You watch his progress intently, but you are jolted out of your observations by the priest asking the two youngsters to hold hands. This means the ceremony is soon to be end. The priest recites the standard commands of marriage and asks each of the two if they promise to obey his commands. Each one gives assent, upon which the priest announces that they are now married, and the crowd cheers. Aloha, House of Jacobs. Welcome on in, my friend. Guinevere is beaming and laughing. You slap on a smile and nod mindlessly. You go through the obligatory round of hugging, kissing, and congratulating just about everyone. Guinevere is excitedly chattering with just about every female in the hall, putting her hand on their arm. You're glad that she's so good at this. It's important to maintain social ties with people, and your clumsy oaf on occasions like this. Guinevere, kneeling down talking to a little girl. Well, the girl's proud mother looks on. She hugs the little girl and moves on to the next family. You can see that the men have already started to segregate themselves from women so they can talk about manly things. The groom is surrounded by other men. You have no idea where the bride is. You hear voices coming from the far end of the hall. You look in that direction and don't see anything through the crowd. But then you notice three women off to the side who apparently have a good view, and they have put their hands to their mouth, looking shocked. Suspicious, you move closer. A few seconds later, you hear somebody shout and you see something fly into the air. This is bad. You push forward through the crowd and quickly find the trouble. Two young men are on the ground, punching and thrashing at each other ineffectively. Key arrives at the same moment. Let's go with the middle one. This is Key's Hall and his people. I better let him handle this, right? Because I feel like I don't want to ruin Key's reputation. Key story's over, shouts a few words, and they stop fighting. But House of Jason, just want to let you know what we're doing. This is a interactive story world developed by my uncle, Chris Crawford, who is a pioneering video game developer. He developed for Atari and Apple back in the day, but hasn't done anything of importance since like 1993. This is something that he released recently, and he's really proud of it because he threw it on his website, and he calls it his magnum opus. So we're reading it and going through it so that I have something to talk with him next time I see him. And it's about the death of King Arthur, and it's fairly pornographic at times, filled with things that I can turn into an innuendo. So I'm not discounting that, but to give you an idea of how little this guy cares about anything, this is an interactive story world with genuine artistic content. As such, it will violate all of your expectations. It's not a game. It's not interactive fiction. It's not a puzzle. It's not action-packed. It's not fun. If you're a gamer, you'll hate it and should not play it. If you like interactive fiction, you probably won't like it. The reason such people should not play it is because it violates all the norms of these firmly established genres. So that's why yeah, he would hate that. Yeah, it would do fine. Oh. Excalibur is long past due for a sharpening. You don't trust anyone else to do the job. A man should sharpen his own blades. Besides, Atricious would probably use that.
Protecting the safety of the Queen is a task that's gladly accepted by police squad. For no matter how silly the idea of having a queen might be to us, as Americans, we must be gracious and considerate hosts.
I love the Naked Gun. Besides, Atricious would probably use that ancient grindstone with the treadle, which is fast but makes a harsh of the edge, leaving it wavy and uneven. So you sit on a stool, dragging the wet stone and smooth the even strokes along the length of the blade. There's an art to sharpening a sword. You must keep the whetstone absolutely straight and apply even pressure as you push down the blade. It's taking you years to master the art. You hold the edge up and sight along its length. Then you run your finger gently along the edge to gauge its sharpness. Yep, you still got it. The common folk tell grand tales about Excalibur's magical origins and its terrifying powers. They say it was forged long, long ago by the gods. Some say that Merlin gave it to you. Others tell a story about it emerging from a lake. What rubbish! You smile to yourself quietly. Whatever works. Merlin has cautioned you not to contradict these stories. They give people a sense of confidence in your leadership. They believe you have the mandate of heaven, he advises. Don't deny it. You smile again. The truth is that Ambrosius Aurelianus bequeathed it to you as he lay dying. Your smile evaporates as you recall that moment. He lay on his bedding in the tent, attended by a physician, a woman and two of his kinglets. There were plenty of candles inside the tent, but they were all flickering abnormally. Outside, a horse was freaking out, and the men were trying to control it. The infection had spread and poisoned his blood. The physician had wanted to amputate the leg, but Ambrosius forbade it, on the grounds that he would be useless as a commander with only one leg. Better to die a heroic commander than linger on as a helpless cripple. The smell of pus and death permeated the tent. It was so difficult to hold back the tears, but Ambrosius would have you chastise you for even crying. Death is part of war, nephew, he advised. To deny it is to turn your head away from the truth of war. I have dealt death to others, and now my turn has come. The wheel of fortune turns. You pick a vow, RSTLNE. Your time has come now. Take up Excalibur. You'd picked up it gingerly, feeling as though you were committing sacrilege. You had held it in its scabbard awkwardly. Take it out, Ambrosius commanded. Hold it up straight. You'd obeyed, still feeling impertinent. Excalibur is a sword of power. It's been handed down from one Celtic leader to the next for generations. Boudicca wielded it when she led the revolt against the Romans. It remained in its scabbard for generations, but now it drenches the ground with the blood of our enemies once more. Now you have the duty to wield Excalibur. Do not fail the sword. Go. You left the tent, run away, no longer able to restrain your sobbing. You felt so unworthy, crying like a child instead of commanding like a king. You make another long, slow stroke with the whetstone. Yes, you've grown into kingship. What choice did you have? The task fell upon you. But the kinglets all recognized you as the rightful High King, and their confidence, along with the cheers of the men, gave you the backbone to take up your responsibilities. Again, you drag the whetstone down the length of the blade. Atricious notices you at work and approaches you. May I hold Excalibur for a moment, he asks. No, we're going to go with the first one. It's kind of a dick move, but we're going to go with it. No, I'm sorry, but Excalibur must be held only by a king. He nods understandingly and seems only slightly disappointed. See how we're doing on our flight? Okay, you're about 100 miles out still. Arthur, would you mind carrying? I need to get another drink. Hold on just 1 second while I get it.
Dad will be right back. Dad will be right back. He might use the bathroom. He might get a snack. He might move Audrey. He might move Sam to his bedroom. He might move Maggie. He might go to get a snack or a drink in 5 minutes. He might be right back in 1 minute or 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or an hour. If you see a streamer's name pop up in the chat, he might come to raid someone. He might just come to go. He might just come to go to the bathroom also. And please don't say he needs to go poop. And was ready for the... He's gonna be right back.
And back. Sometimes I come back and they're still in the middle of the song, and I feel like I should let the song finish. I don't know if you guys think that that's like a good thing. Like, do you feel if when you're listening to the Be Right Back song and it like ends in the middle, like you feel like, did you hear it all? Do you like go to my YouTube page just to like hear the rest of the song, right? Like, Arthur, would you mind carrying this for me? Guinevere is standing over a large bundle of clothes wrapped in a blanket. Must be washing day. Most of the women will be carrying their bundles down to the brook at the bottom of the hill to wash their clothes together. Some of the women will disrobe. Oh, and wash the clothes right there. A line of pickets will keep prying mile eyes away, and the punishments meted out to those young bucks who attempted to violate the privacy have long since discouraged any attempts. Still, every few years, some young punk needs to be made an example of. Sure, I'm happy to, you answer. You've been a bit brusque with Guinevere for the past week. The demands of kingship have weighed heavily upon you, and you've had no time for her. Worse, She's been coming to bed later and later, and you've been getting up earlier and earlier. You no longer have time for pillow talk. You need some time with Guinevere. You hoist the bundle over your shoulder and wobble under the weight. This thing's heavier than you expected. You and Guinevere start walking down the central path from the hall to the northeast gate, passing between the little houses of the inhabitants that are arrayed in lines on either side of the broad pathway. Halfway to the gate, you hear some shouting from the southwest gate. You and Guinevere turn to listen to the echoing shouts. You put down the bundle and strain to hear. After a moment, you see a rider approaching the hall from the southwest gate. He's shouting, "Arthur! Arthur!" You wave your hand and shout back, "Here!" You lean over to Guinevere and say, "This must be important, at least to him." She titters. The rider turns and gallops towards you as if you were being pursued by Saxons from hell. You watched him idly, knowing full well that whatever news he's carrying cannot possibly be as important as all that. Surely Guinevere begins running towards the rider, screaming, "No, no, stop!" Then you see the source of her concern. Two little boys are playing chase, and one of them is running straight into the path of the horseman. Neither can see the other because the boy is running along the wall of the house, but you and Guinevere can instantly see the impending collision. You two start running, waving your arms, shouting, "Stop!" Katana is running beside you, barking fiercely. Katana's a dog, by the way. It's too late. The little boy shoots out from behind the house and straight into the path of the horse. The rider has no time to react. The front hoof of the horse knocks the boy hard, and his hind hoof hits the boy in the head. You distinctly hear a sickening crack. The horse panics and swerves hard, throwing the rider sprawling across the pathway. Guinevere reaches the little boy a few seconds later. You're right behind him. You see in a glance the boy is dead. His skull has been smashed, his brains are splashed around the ground. It's red paint all over again, or red asphalt all over again. You've seen gore many times in the battlefield, but this sight turns your stomach like a 16-year-old Gen Xer learning how to drive a car. Guinevere, unaccustomed to seeing human bodies freshly ripped open, screams in horror and kneels in front of the boy, her arms widespread. Her unearthly howl of anguish pierces your heart. People are running towards the scene. Come, Guinevere, the mother will need your consolation. I think that's the right one to go with. The now fearful dismay sweeps across her face. How can I do this? I can't do this. It's too much. I think that's the right one to go with. I really do. 74 nautical miles. Nephian the Bard is coming to Camelot. Everybody's a Twitter over his arrival. Nephian. Am I saying Nephian right? Nephion? Nephian. Everyone's at Twitter's arrival. Nephian is the greatest bard in all of Britain. He knows all the great stories and many of the rare ones that few others know. He's a master of the harp and plays music. And the music he plays to accompany his stories brings tears to the eyes of his audiences. Or makes them laugh out loud, fills them with pride. In your entire life, you've never seen Nephian 5 times, roughly once a decade. He's so revered that he is feted everywhere he goes and progresses slowly across the country. He could be rich if he stayed only at the courts and the kinglets, but Nephian thinks it's important that all the Celtic people hear the great stories, so he spends as much time in tiny villages as in great courts. The people of those villages scrape together the very best food they have and offer him the finest commendations they can assemble. But he always refuses special treatment, insisting that he eat the same food and sleep in the same accommodations they do, because he's kinky like that. Nephion is a great man. Guinevere is frantically preparing for his arrival. She's outfitted one of the side sections of the Great Hall with strained partitions and curtains to ensure his warmth and privacy. He will have a raised bed just as good as the one that you and Guinevere share. Although everyone else sleeps on a bed of straw and furs, here in Camelot, he'll be given the royal treatment that only Camelot can provide. Dulesse is just as frantic as Guinevere, trying to organize 5 days of feast. She'll have hundreds of people to feed, and Nephian's assistants that he eat exactly the same meals that everyone else will eat puts her in an awkward situation. She has plenty of grain for porridge and bread, but nowhere near enough of anything to give it to everybody. She's working on a magnificent soup with meat, beans, vegetables, even some herbs for flavor, but it'll have to be watered down to have enough for everybody. You've given her 20 people to assist with the huge task. Some of them will have nothing else to do but carry ingredients to the kitchen and carry food to the tables. Camelot itself only has about 200 residents, but people from all around are coming. Fortunately, Nephian is visiting each of the kinglets separately, so he won't have to provide hospitality for those people. Even so, Guinevere estimates there'll be 400 people in attendance for the bar's performances. The Great Hall can only hold 300 in normal circumstances, but by setting up 10 ladders, an additional 100 can sit on the ladders and raft. You're gonna make people sit on a ladder? Okay. The place will be packed, but it'll hold. You've got plenty on your hands as well. You'll need extra diggers for the latrines. Lots of workers constructing the extra tables and benches for all the people. People setting up tents for all the outsiders. The list is endless. Guinevere and Dulesse plague you with requests for more assistance to help with all the tasks. You've pulled the ironworkers, the stable hands, the weavers, the people who usually maintain and repair stuff. Everybody you can spare. Camelot is alive with activity and everybody seems to be hurrying. The big day finally arrives. Nephian is sighted when he's still a mile away, walking down the old Roman road towards Camelot. The northeast gate is swung open and scores of people rush out to greet him. He's getting old. He ascends the road to the northwest gate slowly. The troops, now acting as police, have cleared a path from the gate to the place where you and Guinevere stand, waiting to welcome the great man. He is puffing hard from the exertion, and when he reaches you, he puts his weight on his walking staff. He has certainly aged. His hair is but a few wisps of white. His face is wrinkled and his hands seem bony. Guinevere nudges you, and you raise your arms and declare, "Welcome! Welcome, great Nephian. We are so honored that you choose to visit us." Nephian bows low and sweeps his arms sideways in a grandiose gesture and then loudly declares, "It is I who is honored to be in the presence of the victor of Mount Badon, the conqueror of Saxons and the liberator of Britons." He pauses, staring at you almost differently, and then quietly, so only a few people can hear, say, "What do you think of them apples, Arthur, my friend?" You burst out laughing and slap Nephian on the shoulders. Nephian smiles paternally, accepts your arm, the arm you offer for support. All right, I think we can get one more page in. Everyone has eaten their fill and settled into their places in the Great Hall. Strict rules specify who sits where. Nephian the bar is seated in a comfortable chair by the central fire. You and Guinevere sit on either side. But for the young people sitting on the rafters, everyone else is standing. Nephian takes his harp in his hand and raises it to his shoulder. I feel like Nephian would be really good at Twitch, by the way. The murmuring of the crowd silences instantly. He begins playing a lilting melody, his fingers dashing across the 6 strings of his heart with amazing speed and agility. truly beautiful. The only music you ever hear is the singing of the weavers as they toil at their spindles and looms. The sounds of this harp are heavenly. Prick up your ears, my dears, and listen long as I sing my song, he begins. Pwyll was a king of an ancient land, he ruled with a noble hand. His cattle were many, his sheep were plenty, and the hail were his folk. On a day bright and gay, he set out to play with his dogs on the grand hunt. Deep in the forest he rode, a fog arose, and he knew he was not where he was. No tracks were found, the dogs ran around, and Pwyll began to fear. Then to help he heard the yelps of another pack of dogs. Off they went to follow the scent, and they came around a glade. There that pack had killed the stag, and around it they stayed. Beyond he louts, Pwyll shouts, and they chased the dogs away. With his own pack he sent to snack upon the fallen stag. When a horseman appears, his dogs are rear and growls at Pwyll. You've done me hurt, he loudly blurts, and revenge I shall have. What harm have I done? Recompose I will pay, whatever you shall say. My pack you did cheat by taking their meat after a long and hard chase. What price do you ask? Whatever the task, I'll do it to earn your goodwill. What is the name that I may blame for the discourtesy so ill? My name and my fame are known far and wide. It's Pwyll. How come you not know? Am I saying Pwyll White, by the way? I'm not sure about that one.
He will.
Pwyll. I like Pwyll more. Pwyll is a name bereft of fame in these lands that I rule. What time the king of these lands? Nay, Pwyll, for you the other world of Anavan, and I am Arwan, kinglet of this domain. Nephian stops to narrate. Oh, he was narrating. I thought he was singing this whole time. It takes a moment to take a sip of beer. That's a good idea, buddy. Then he plays a new piece on his harp, a gloomy melody rife with forbearing. Audience members exchange alarmed glances. Nephian continues the narration in a different tone. What magic has brought me here? Pwyll asks. I do not know, but it is to my benefit. Exactly 1 year from tonight, I am obliged to meet with Havagon, a rebel king of the Anavan, who is my sworn enemy. We'll meet at the ford of the river between our lands, and we shall fight to the doom of one. My arm is withered from disease, and I cannot win. I therefore ask you to take my place in this fight. Know this, the first blow you strike, if it is good and true, will prove mortal to Havagon. But if you should strike him for a second time, he will not die. He will return in another year for another combat. Therefore, when you strike him once, and only once. That I shall do, said Pwyll. What am I to do in the year until then? I'll change your semblance on my own. You will live in my fortress with my queen. Ooh, sounds fun. She is most beautiful, and you may have her every night. She will think she's making love to her husband, and she'll take you most enthusiastically. That will be a reward for the service you do to me. Like, does Pwyll look like her husband? I shall do so, Pwyll replied. But what of my own kingdom? It cannot survive a year without me. Just as I have given you my semblance, so shall I take your semblance, and I shall rule your kingdom with all due poverty and sagacity. Fear not, your kingdom will prosper under my guidance. When you have killed Havagon, we shall revert to our original forms and return to our... Oh, they're shapeshifters. Got it. Pwyll went to our... Now, here's the question. Is this not Pwyll dude just want to get it on with Pwyll's wife? I'm curious. So Pwyll went to Arwen's fortress, and there he was received as if he were Arwen himself. Arwen's fortress was a mighty sight to see. Its walls were of timber and stone and stood 20 feet high. The audience gasps. And were so strong that none could enter except by the gate. Inside the fortress was a veritable town, dense with people of all labors, all busy at work. They ate a grand banquet that night, and Puel had never seen such a great array of foods. Yet, this was a common meal. Seated next to Puel at dinner was the queen. Puel had never seen a woman of such beauty before. Her hair was golden in color and wore a yellow robe of shining satin. They conversed at meal, and Puel found her to be the wittiest, most eloquent conversationalist he had ever met. When the banquet ended, the queen led Puel to the bedroom where they undressed and reclined. The queen sought to embrace him, but Puel turned his back to her and would not speak. Throughout the year, he treated her with great honor and great cheer, but at night, he spurned her every advance. She was most angry with him, as she should. Murmurs ripple through the audience. The notion of a man turning his back to a beautiful woman, not his wife, is an astounding and noble thing. This is a story, though. As the months went by, Puel tasted all the joys of that great abode. There were hunts, astounding tales of magnificent deeds narrated by sage bards, the most glorious music that made him cry, made him laugh, and made him shout with joy. When the appointed night came, Puel rode to the river ford with his men and found HABD waiting in the middle of the river. Puel strolled out, confronted HABD, challenged him to mortal combat. Puel struck a mighty blow that shattered HABD's shield and plunged deep into HABD's belly. HABD stumbled backwards but recovered his stance and said, "A great blow that was, Erwan, but I stand here. You must strike a second blow to finish me." Puel remembered Erwan's warning and lowered his shield. "Nay, HABD, I've done my night's work." Then he turned and strode back to his side of the river. HABD staggered back to his side of the river, fell into the arms of his men, and breathed his last. The audience broke into cheers and laughter. Nephian waited for them to die down, plucking a triumphant air on his harp. When the tumult had ceased, Nephian resumed his tale. The next day, Puel and Erwan met at the same spot where they first met. Erwan returned them to their true semblances, and they both returned to their homes, where nobody noticed any absence. Puel occasionally inquired as to what people thought of his rule for the last year, and all assured him that the previous 12 months had been the happiest and most productive ever known. When Erwan asked about the previous years, Queen complained bitterly that he had rejected her so cruelly. Erwan marveled at the honor and nobility that Puel had shown during his year, and so a friendship birthed between Puel and Erwan, a friendship that endured for all time. The audience erupts in shouts and laughter. You can hear comments from between the people behind you. Such a glorious story. I wish we could listen to Nephian stories every night. I won't be able to sleep tonight. I am too excited. You smile to yourself. Nephian is indeed the greatest bard in all of Britain. I rise and shout, "Let's all show our appreciation for Nephian's story." The hall trembles with the shouts of appreciation for Nephian. And that's where we're going to leave this story, because we are 13 miles away and we got to dive.
Now I want you to disengage the automatic pilot. Watch out you don't make any violent control movements like you did in the fighter plane.
All right, I'm going to unlock the automatic pilot.
Just remember the controls will feel very heavy compared to a fighter. Don't worry about that, it's perfectly normal.
We're diving, and I just realized I haven't even brought over the whatchamacallit over here. Hold on. Okay, now I can read chat, in case you guys chat while we're doing this. Oh, we got an ad about to start. Let's do a 5-minute break. Snooze. I want to be able to land. We're 9 nautical miles out, and we are diving quick, y'all. Let's see if I can turn back time. Okay, Perfect. There. I have no idea where the runway is, so we're just gonna get low. Do a flyby, see which direction it is, and then land. We're down to about 6,000 feet with 6 miles to go. $5,000 feet, 5 miles. $4,000 feet, 4 miles. Okay, I'm gonna level off. Yeah, it's good diving. Let's go. How are you doing, Clover? How are you enjoying the story, by the way, out of curiosity? I do not see a runway here. Like, that's my biggest thing I'd like to point out. I do not see a runway anywhere near here. We may just be landing in the desert. I see a road. I mean, that over there on the right, that could be a runway looking thing. But in terms of where the like little dot is that they claim to be an airport, I don't see anything there. Nope, I see a runway. Okay, okay, we can level. I clearly see a runway. And I see what I'm going to have to do to land in it. Okay. So let's go past it. And then we'll do a turn. Let's turn sharply, but we got to keep elevation while we turn. Yeah, this is going to be a real tricky landing, y'all. We're just going to right there. Nope. Let's dive. Let's straighten it out. We're bouncing. I am trying to brake, y'all. No offense taken, Clover. And I'm gonna snooze again. I don't want to go to an ad break. I get it. I mean, absolutely no offense taken when people do not like what my uncle has to say on any subject, right? At the end of the day, like, who cares what he has to think? The pure enjoyment I'm getting out of it is mostly about, like, having fun with it. Oh, wait. Let's start turning things off. There it goes. Yeah, like at the end of the month, I'm supposed to go to see him, and I don't know if I'm going to keep doing it after I go to see him. Right? I just don't know if I want to. And I think the reason why I don't know if I want to is I just sit here and go, how much longer is this going on? It feels like Dune 2. Right? It just feels like it's going on forever. I don't think I'm going to be able to snooze again. It says I've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds before pre-rolls turn off. So let's find someone to raid. If you know of someone who is online now that you feel like, hey, Cross should meet this person, this is your opportunity to drop the name in the chat, and we will consider rating them. And then we'll set up for all the stuff, and then after the commercial break, we'll do like our end of stream song. Let's see who we got. Lon Gopher is a good person to raid. I haven't raided Allie in ages. So she's kind of a leading contender because I absolutely adore her. And I just haven't had time to raid her. Oh, Atbara is playing. Let's go raid him. I love Allie. But I haven't raided Atbara in ages. And Atbara likes to come in and is a good and I'm not saying Allie is not a valued member of our community, because she is absolutely a valued member of our community. But I rarely get to catch this dude. And he's such a good person to have in chat. And I've always enjoyed when I've been in his games. I just don't get to check him out as often as I'd like to. So let's do a deep dive on him while I wait for the commercial break to end. Because I'm supposed to be getting pre-roll any second now. This is a spooky filmmaking with someone named Fud_gaming. Atbara is I know his name can be difficult to say. I'm going to just call it Atbara. I am just a simple guy that likes games. I'm either quiet or loud at times. I can be corny. I tend to curse it a lot, but all is good. Currently chilling at 95 followers. I feel like the dude should be much higher than that. Good friends with Manny the Elf, another wonderful human being who I think the world of. Yeah, let's raid Atbara. Okay, pre-roll ads are on. We're in an ad break to disable them. Oh, cool. So yeah. He's playing with a content warning. I wanted to see, yes, he's been playing content warning. He wanted to see what the game is. Like, exactly, that's what he's playing. Which is why I want to see him. So let's do our goodbye song, and then we'll do all the things that we do. Right. I never thought it'd be so tough to end this stream. Flying high, yeah, in Microsoft skies. The plane was soaring through clouds so high. And now that we've landed, we'll build the Lego set. Aloha. 'Cause I could never make you unhappy. Nah, I couldn't do that, chat. Only wish I'd have to go. Makes it so very hard to go. 'Cause it's time to rain. I've got to go to bed. Lego bricks clicking as the plane cruises on. In the virtual cockpit, and the stream rolls on. The set takes shape. But now it's time to stop. The building cease. We're moving on to a new friend. His name is Atbara, and he's playing content warning. And spread the aloha spirit. 'Cause I could never make you unhappy. Nah, I couldn't do that, chat. Only wish I didn't have to go. Makes it so very hard to go. 'Cause it's time to rain. I've got to rain. Mahalo everyone for being here. This is a wonderful stream. We'll be back on Friday with some Among Us. It is an MTV Spring Break Party themed game, and I'm so excited for that. And then of course we'll be back to this on Sunday after that. Mahalo for everyone for being here. 'Cause I could never make you unhappy. Nah, I couldn't do that, chat. The only wish I didn't have to go. Makes it so very hard to go. 'Cause it's time to rain. I've got to go to bed. It ain't easy for his dad to walk away from a chat when he loves him so very much. Aloha. Mahalo everyone from the bottom of my heart.